We are living in a time when everybody is looking forward to financial freedom for their life. Everyone is talking about passive income or residual income without telling how to achieve this and what are the foundations needed to have a financially free life. The Parable of Pipeline best-selling book by Buck Hedges and his insights create a solid foundation in this direction. Let's start with a condensed version of Parable of Pipelines. If you have not already, then subscribe to Reading Leaf for condensed version of books, because here we do not provide the big key ideas alone, but the entire book in its condensed form. So let's start. The book starts with an interesting story of two friends, Pablo and Bruno. Once upon a time, there were two friends, Pablo and Bruno. Like most of us, they were big dreamers, bright and hardworking, and they wanted to be rich and successful someday. All they needed was an opportunity, and one day that opportunity arrived in their life. They noticed village has no proper water supply. Hence, villagers wanted to hire two men who can carry water from the nearby river. Pablo and Bruno, without a delay, seized this opportunity and start walking. Each man grabbed two buckets and headed to the river. At the end of the day, they got paid a penny for each bucket. Bruno was so excited and happy with his new job. They got enough money for food, beer, and some extra cash as saving. Bruno said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this. This is like a dream come true." But Pablo wasn't sure. As the end of the day, his back hurts, his hand were blistered, carrying those heavy buckets. Bruno started his calculation in his mind. Oh my God, in a month or so, I can purchase a donkey. Maybe in a year, I will purchase 2 cows. In 3 to 5 years, I might have my own home. Perfect. Finally, my life is going to settle up. Does this imagination sound familiar to you? Something like we all have after we get a first paycheck? Okay, but on the other hand, Pablo was little terrified and distressed as he was thinking about, what if I got sick? There will be no money, or if I wanted to go for vacation, or when I will get old, I won't be able to carry those heavy buckets. And he wanted a permanent solution to his financial problems. Few days later, Pablo had an epiphany. He wanted to share his new amazing idea with his friend. So Pablo rushed to his friend's home and said, "Bruno, I got an awesome idea, buddy. How about if we build a pipeline from river to our village? Then we won't need to carry any buckets and we will make money without putting any effort." Bruno said, "What? A pipeline for water? Are you sick? That's impossible. No one has ever tried such thing. That's a stupid idea. Can't you see everything is just going to be great? We have a job that paid us well. Our life is going to be great. And no one will ever need a pipeline." Pablo was a hard nerd, one of the kind you cannot easily discourage. So he decided to work on his own. Pablo would work part of the day carrying buckets and then part of the day and weekends building his pipeline. He knew it would be hard work digging a ditch in the rocky soil, and his income would also drop for sure. He also knew that it would take a year or possibly 2 before his pipeline would actually start to pay. But he kept working on his pipeline. At the same time, Bruno was earning almost twice as much money as Pablo. He kept flaunting his new purchases, spent evenings in bar having expensive drinks with other villagers. And villagers used to cheer him and called him as Mr. Bruno. At the same time, Bruno and other villagers began mocking Pablo, calling him as Pablo the Pipeline Man. But Pablo kept digging and chanted to himself, "Short-term pains equal long-term gain. Keep your eyes on the prize." And he kept chanted to himself. Eventually, days turned into months and months into years, and Pablo realized his pipeline is about to complete. Villagers also got excited and were amazed to see new pipeline for water. Finally, Pablo's big day arrived. The pipeline was complete. Now the village has a continuous supply of fresh water even at a lower cost. Now Pablo didn't have to carry buckets anymore. Water always flowed, whether he worked or not. The more water flowed into village, the more money flowed into Pablo's pocket. The pipeline drove Bruno the bucketman out of the business. One day, Pablo called his friend Bruno and said, "That's okay, we all commit mistake. But now I have more knowledge and resources to make pipeline faster than ever before. Let's build the pipeline all around the world." Now I have a question for you. Stop for a moment and think, who are you? A pipeline builder or a bucket carrier? If your money only comes for the trade of time, you know the answer. Why the large number of population is like this? Why we are unable to sort one simple aspect of our life, which is money? Let me help you in finding the answers of these questions. Have you ever thought how much we actually know about money? And for answer, give a close look at our education system. Our teacher, society, even our parents are not teaching us about money. Everyone is preparing us for a job. Our entire culture is being developed on teaching us how to get a secured job. That's it. How can you expect to win the battles without ever learning to fight? How can you expect to win the game of money without ever learning the foundation of money? Let's understand what's wrong with this approach. See, the problem with time for money trap is the day you cannot trade the time, you won't get the money. Pablo understood this, that your pipeline is your lifeline, which all of us also need to understand. We live in a bucket carrying world, which speaks you want more money, do more work, trade more time. Take a close look and tell, is earning more money by carrying more bucket plan is working? If you actually observed and take a close look around you, then you could easily tell, no, this is not working at all. I got some data here to do a cross check. Consumer debt is at record high. More than 46% women is working to support their families. More people are looking for second jobs. More people than ever are under financial stress. So next question may be, how about big buckets? Big buckets means, can a higher paying job solve this problem? And the truth is, even the big buckets won't solve the problem, because big income also followed by big expenses. The average worker drives a $5,000 used car, while a doctor drives a $45,000 Lexus, which comes with high maintenance cost. Doctor's big income comes with bigger expenses. Driver's average income comes with average expenses. Eventually, all buckets dry up. It's that simple. Can you understand now why pipelines are your lifelines? In fact, most people with bigger buckets are more frustrated than others, while your pipeline give you freedom to choose, freedom to live, freedom to be more happy. You have to make your choice. No one else in the world can make choice for you. Do you know when Michael Jackson died, he was having $500 million in debt? How is that possible? The most famous and one of the greatest dancers of our time, who got maximum paid from his client, died in $500 million debt. And the answer is, when your big income comes with bigger outgo, you ultimately hit the financial disaster. On the other hand, even small income with consistent growing pipelines turn into prosperity in long terms. Why is that so? To support the above statement, author explains the concept of leverage. It's a civilization-altering concept. The root words for leverage is lever, which comes from an old French word meaning to make lighter. So, by employing a lever, a big load can be handled with small effort. For example, before 1440, all books needed to be handwritten, which means 1 hour effort produced 1 hour result. Then Gutenberg made the world's first commercial printing press. Now, 1 hour effort can give results of 100 hours. In stock, $1 investment can be turned into $100 results. This is the power of leveraging. This is leveraging your time and money. Another great example of leveraging time is hiring employees for your business. If you're trying to do everything by yourself, then you're not a businessman, you are just self-employed. But if you have 10 people's staff, you pay an average of $10 per hour, you are paying $100 per hour. And then if your business make $300 per hour in revenue, the difference goes to your pocket. Similarly, you can leverage your money by investing in stock, real estate, bonds, etc. We all know the story of Warren Buffett, who made his entire fortune just based on investment. Another gold nugget and big ideas from this book is effect of compounding. See, pipeline is just an amazing concept because your pipeline is never static. Your pipeline keeps compounding over time. It keeps growing with compounding effect, and that's how your money turns into wealth over time. Albert Einstein referred to compounding as the eighth wonder of the world. Let's say you invest your $10,000 at 10% interest, you will have $20,000 in 7 years. Not a big deal, right? But in 14 years, you will have 40,000 US dollar. In next 21 years, you will have 80,000 US dollar. And in next 28 years, you will have 160,000 US dollar. Does this amount sound interesting to you? Let's go further. In 35 years, you will have 320,000 US dollar. In 42 years, you will have 640,000 US dollar. And in 49 years, you will have $1.3 million in your bank account. And you will eventually become millionaire by just using an initial amount of $10,000. See, for 7 years does not sound interesting, but over time, your small investment of $10,000 turns into $1 million bag. Most people in our society drive car which is more expensive than $10,000, who keep losing its value with the time. Well, this happens when you leverage your money. But the 50-year plan does not seem attractive to everyone. How about a 5-year plan for same result? Yes, it is possible if you learn to leverage your time. I already explained you by making people's pipeline or hiring people is leveraging your time. If 10 people work for you and they work for 8 hours a day, congratulations, you got extra 80 hours of work getting done for you. But not everyone can afford to hire people, right? Today, we have the greatest time leveraging tools in history. Today, pipeline is no longer the monopoly of riches. Anyone with a little time and a lot of drive can leverage their time to build a great pipeline in a much shorter time. And the tool is internet. Yes, now you can create content once and sell it to million people. Open your e-shop 24/7, 365 days a year. Your e-business or pipeline will work even when you play, you go on a vacation, or you sleep, or even when you watch an awesome YouTube video. You know your pipeline keep growing because you are leveraging time in the form of internet. If I have done sufficient job in explaining you the parable of pipeline, then here is a call to action for you. I want you to answer these 2 questions in the comment box. Number 1, what are your 2 biggest takeaways from this video? Second, what can you do to make your money pipeline? If this video has added values to your life, please consider sharing with at least 3 people. It may help someone escaping the time for money trap. Thank you, and if you want more such content, please subscribe to my channel Reading Leaf, because I will keep uploading such mindful content which help you in improving the quality of your life. Thank you.